We're live. Fitness Business University podcast. This is Tom Langton. I'm here with Vince Gabriel. Vince, what's up?
Hey, Tom.
Today's a very special day for all you listeners out there. Today's Vince Gabriel's birthday. Happy birthday, Vince.
We didn't record this podcast just because it was my birthday.
We kind of did, though, because it is Monday, and we normally record on Friday.
Yeah, but I'm traveling this week, so I will not be here Friday, which is when we normally record, so we had to record on Monday.
But we could have done
and it just happened to be on my birthday.
Okay.
So,
We'll go with that.
Whatever.
We'll go with that story.
Whatever.
We'll go with that story. But happy birthday.
Thanks, Tom.
We won't mention how old you are. We don't want to embarrass you.
It's okay.
But let me ask you this. You've reached a certain age. I think we have listeners of all multiple ages. Do you feel any ill effects of becoming an old man?
No, I don't. I feel better at 39 than I did at 35.
And what do you attribute that to?
Lots of taking care of my body. I will say that, and this is kind of an important lesson, but the first few years of being an entrepreneur really took an impact on my health.
It's almost like being the president. Now they say like the president, the ages. He's been president for 4 years, but it's like the aging of a 22.
Yeah.
It's like being dog years.
Yeah.
So like honestly, if you're not sleeping, so is that? I mean, 'cause I know you talk about this in your in the mentorship and stuff. A big section is like taking care of yourself.
Yeah, your personal health, and it's really hard at the beginning where you're like burning the candle at both ends. You're working late. There's a lot of stress because you're just trying to get this thing started. So that if you don't get things off the ground fast, a lot of people stay in that mode, in that kind of startup mode, and it's taxing. You can only go do that so long, especially as you're getting older. So I'm grateful. I think the key is building a great team.
Yeah.
Getting them to be able to do a great job and step up so you can kind of step back from the actual day-to-day and focus on, what does a business need to do, which is still taxing to your brain, but it's not as physically and mentally taxing.
I'm gonna write that down. We're gonna do an entire episode.
Yeah.
On personal health.
So I take it. I give credit to a couple things. One is being really good at delegating, because I don't like to do a lot of work, so I'm good at delegating. 2 is aligning myself with people like yourself and people like Sharpie behind the camera that do great work. And the third thing is focusing on my physical health. Is really saying, okay, the business will only go as far as my brain. And as a former college football player with traumatic brain injury, which is what they essentially told me, I need to do everything possible to take care of that. So I spent a lot of time, doing that. So those are the.
So we'll dig deeper into that. But we got to bring one thing up. First of all, that this is now available. If you want to see what we look like as we're talking, I don't know if anybody wants that. Because if you think we sound weird, well, you see what we look like. But we are on YouTube now, so if you're watching this on YouTube, there's a cake sitting here, and it looks delicious. It's genius how to do this.
The best of all worlds.
It's a carrot cake, a chocolate cake, red velvet, and what's the other? Was that butterscotch? Sharpie confirms the butterscotch. But it's four pieces, 4 giant pieces of cake made in one taste that you kind of get. But you haven't touched. I said I'm only going to take it. So why won't you eat this?
None for me. No dairy for me.
No dairy. So
that is the one food that I don't eat.
It's
for now.
But again, that goes into having discipline in your.
Yes, no, I won't eat dairy. I had a huge.
I will confirm that this is not bullshit because you're a pain in the ass. We go to the diner and you're that guy who's asking the waitress.
No dairy.
Like, what does the dressing have dairy? Is that so? Like, this is not. I think a lot of people talk about things they don't eat when they kind of have, but you are pretty strict about this no dairy. This is it. I can't believe you're not going to eat it.
Yesterday was Father's Day, so I had a massive Taylor ham and cheese. Taylor ham and egg sandwich. No cheese, which is like a Taylor ham, egg, and cheese is like one of the best things ever. But
for those of you who are not from Jersey, Taylor ham is like it's a Jersey meat. When you come here for the mentorship, you have to get a Taylor ham sandwich.
Yeah, Brent Gallagher has turned this podcast off by now.
That's okay.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah.
All right. So that being said, happy birthday, Vince.
Thanks, Tom.
But let's get into it. So the title today is the Scoreboard.
Scoreboard.
That's like, all right. So that's a little vague. And here's the thing: like a lot of our subjects have been very specific things: marketing, sales, building your team, programming, whatever it is. What the hell does a scoreboard mean?
So I can't believe we didn't talk about this earlier because it's one of the most important things that a business could have. Here's basically, I'll tell what a scoreboard is, and well, actually no, I'm going to tell my story first. So once upon a time, which is always a great way to start a story.
As an old man,
once upon a time,
start stories.
Once upon a time, I learned that from Dr. Gilbert.
Yep.
Because once you hear once upon a time, you immediately are going into story. All right. So once upon a time, there was this giant laboratory that had this massive boilermaker inside this lab. And they do all kinds of testing on like all kinds of different stuff. The machine was like a multi-million dollar machine. It was massive. And it was responsible for generating lots of money. This machine actually running was responsible for millions of dollars. And not only did it cost them money, it was responsible for a million. But so all these scientists in these white lab coats are standing around this Boilermaker looking at it, confused as to not knowing why it's not working. And there's a lot of pressure on them to get these working. So they called in an outside consultant. And the outside consultant's kind of the guy comes in, a t-shirt and jeans on. All these guys are in like lab coats. T-shirt and jeans on, and he looks up at this big Boilermaker, and he looks up, looks down, and he turns to one of the scientists and he says, "Hey, do you have a hammer?" And so the scientist hands him a hammer, and he takes the hammer on the side of the Boilermaker and just goes and hits it on the side. That was the sound of me hitting something.
What did it make, a metal sound?
I don't know.
That's like the sound of air. There we go.
Something like that.
Okay.
And all of a sudden it turns on. And everyone said, like, how the heck did that happen? The guy pulls out an invoice pad and he hands him a bill for $1,000. And the scientist looked at the bill and he was like, $1,000? You were here for like 5 minutes. How are you going to charge us $1,000? He's like, well, it's $100 for me to come here and hit this thing with a hammer and get it started. But it's $900 because I knew where to hit the Boilermaker. And that is a massive problem with people that run gyms, is they don't know what problems to solve. They have no idea of what to do, of what hierarchy they should do things in, and therefore they're left to their own devices to try and figure it out. The scoreboard gives them that information of where do you hit, this is signifying your business, where do you hit the hammer? Where in your business do you hit with the hammer?
Gotcha.
And that's what the scoreboard tells you. It tells you where the problem is that needs to be solved immediately. That's going to give you the best result.
All right. So again, and being totally transparent, we've only been doing this for a few years. We've been in business for 10 years. Now we've always kind of tracked our numbers and looked at our stuff, but the scoreboards are relatively new, not new, but probably the last couple of years that we've been doing it.
Yeah, I'd say the last, this specific way, I think we were doing it in different ways, but the very specific way that we'll talk about it today, yes, about 3 years.
Okay, but so for any business owner that's listening to this, when should they do this? Should they wait 7 years into the business?
No. This is something that at a business of any size and day one, there's a lot of things that in our business right now, because we're an 11-year mature business that we do, that I probably wouldn't recommend for someone like a stage 1 gym owner to start doing. But this is different. This is like the scoreboard basically tells the story of your business. Another word for scoreboard that people have probably heard is KPIs. KPIs stand for key performance indicators, which is actually a decent name because it's, it tells you, it's an indicator of, how this certain thing is performing. But what you want the scoreboard to tell you is what are the most important metrics, and these are all metrics. These are number-based things, not just financials, that you need to be able to tell the story of your business. There's a whole saying out there that the numbers tell the story of the business. The other way you can look at it is like this, Tom. If you're on a vacation, let's say you go on vacation with your family, you have no contact with the office, you're not allowed to talk to anyone at the gym, but you want to see how things are going. If someone would send you the scoreboard, without talking to anybody, you should have a really good idea of how the business is performing based on those key metrics. That's the type of things that you want to have on the scoreboard. We're going to unpack them for you today, so you don't need to go and create your own scoreboard. We're going to give it to you today. Same thing, like when we sign up a new mastermind member. I just had a new guy sign up over the weekend, and he's like, "What's the first thing I should do?" I was like, "All right, go watch this video," and it was a video on the scoreboard. And basically, it's a video teaching him exactly what we're going to talk about in this podcast, but also attached to it, there's an Excel template that has exactly how to do it. He just can take that Excel template and use the scoreboard.
All right, so number one, this is for everybody listening. Whether you're a one-man show with 15 clients or you have 20 employees and 400 clients, it doesn't matter. This is an important thing for everyone to kind of start doing if you're not doing this.
Any business, like let's say you're listening to this for some reason and you're not a gym owner.
Yeah.
Like any business, like I don't know, I really don't know what we did. I guess we kind of were a little bit all over the place for a while, for a long time. But this is just, it's brought a degree of order to what we do. Order meaning like, order meaning like organization, like it's clean. Like there's a really good structured process for keeping things in line and check.
Okay. So let's do this. Let's do a little role play. I come to you and I'm starting my own business, Langton Institute of Performance, right? I want to know. It's a great name. It's the Lip. See, it's good.
The
Right?
Langton Institute of Performance, the Lip.
The Lip. Yeah. It's my garage.
Yeah.
Yeah. But where do I start? So I have a business. I'm just getting started. I have a few clients, right? I want to know. Give me like 4 or 5 numbers. Because how big the scoreboard can be? Can be huge. You can have all these numbers. What am I looking for?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think that the less the better.
Okay.
The less the better. Sometimes EOS, which is a company we use, we love, they recommend anywhere from 10 to 15 numbers. But we try and keep it as simple as possible. And the 4 numbers that I like are...
So 4 is where you start people off.
These are the 4, like the most basic, and I'll start with, so it's Tom Plummer, who's one of my mentors, cemented and hammered into my head over and over and over again through the years that leads, trials, and contracts are the business plan. Leads, trials, contracts is the thing that you need to know. And the 4th one would be retention. So if you think about it like this, the leads, trials, contracts represents the inflow of new business. There will always be an outflow of business. There always will be someone moves away. You have people that maybe just get injured. Things happen, and there is we'll call that attrition, right?
Yep.
That is something to keep track of.
Good. Before let's talk about that real quick. So attrition is something, I don't know if you touched on this before, but so you're saying that like we never want to lose a client, but you're naturally going to, like there's people that are going to leave, and so just talk about
that. Yeah, that's a good question. So typical industry standard, it's I like 3%. So to make math easy, if you have 100 clients, you can expect to lose based on an average of someone moving away, of someone getting injured, of someone having financial problems where they can no longer come to your gym. On a monthly basis, this is 3% of 100, but it's on a monthly basis. So 3% of 100 would be how many clients per month? 3 clients. So you could say, all right, we lost 3 clients in the month of January. That pretty much says that you're on track. That is like standard normal. Now some people might go, oh my God, I lost 3 clients this week. And sometimes it happens all in the same week. Just looked at the camera again. It's saying that is like normal attrition. I do think that you do have to look at this on trends, and it's hard your first year because there's nothing really to compare it to, because like a lot of gyms sign up like a lot of new members in January and not a lot of new members in August. So it's safe to say that there's a potential to have a higher attrition rate in January than there is in August, because there's more chances that people's memberships are expired during those months. So you do kind of got to look at it on a total annual basis, and you definitely want to keep track on a monthly basis, but you really got to wait to the end of the year to see where you're really on track with that 3% number. And some people use 2%, some people use 4%. We use 3%.
And that's that fourth number, that retention number is
Retention is
how many people you started the month with versus, that doesn't include anybody you add on to contract, right?
Yeah, so let me explain that. So let's say you start the month with 100 clients. We'll keep it that much.
On June 1st, you have 100 clients.
June 1st, you have 100 clients. On June 30th, June 30th or 31st?
Yeah.
On June 31st, the last day of June, excluding any new members that you add, if you now have 97 clients, remember this is excluding any new members you add, you're on track. You lost 3 people, you're on track. If you're down to 90 from 100,
it's 10% loss.
10% loss.
Yeah.
Not good.
Gotcha. And then the next month you just add in new clients and start that number. So
Exactly.
each month and then
Yep.
So that's the fourth number. That's your retention. That's how you track it.
That's retention. And so we kind of do it both ways when you track that. So we will also look at it on a weekly basis, just more to see, do we need to do anything? Because we've talked about this, I believe we talked about this on a previous podcast, what we do when a member terminates.
Yep.
So for most businesses, it's not going to be a loss. Even if you have 300 members, it's only in a month, you're only by that by the week. That's like 3 people a week. So if you look at your weekly termination list, and it's probably worth the 5 minutes to spend to look at those 3 people and to ask yourself, well, why did those 3 people terminate? Well, one moved away, well, one did it, blah, 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 blah. And then you can kind of figure it out and potentially make action steps towards maybe getting those members back in.
Yeah.
Maybe setting a timeline of when you're going to follow up with them again, things like that.
I think that's important when you just the last thing you say, because sometimes you say, all right, we can live with losing 3%, but you have to actually talk about it. So you lose 3 people, you're like, oh, that's normal. But if they left because they weren't happy with your service, that's bad.
You
so
still
having
want to
that
look
conversation
at it.
about
You still want to look at it. You still want to look and see. Now, if it's a really, really high volume, remember most of us are not in really, really high volume businesses. I don't know many gyms like ours that has 500 clients, right? When you get to 10,000 people, this becomes, you have to just do it by a percentage.
Yep.
But most of us, and especially most of the people listening to this, are probably at a size where they have the bandwidth to be able to dig a little deeper and make sure they're not uncovering what is called something called a leading indicator as, all right, there's a problem developing. Are people leaving because they don't like your programming? Are people leaving because you have a trainer that smells? Are people leaving because your gym is dirty? You know, it helps you. That's and one of the advantages of running a small business like the one we have.
And the idea of all this being, you're getting kind of ahead of the issues, so you can see the issues before they become really, really big.
That's why ideally we said you want to track it on a monthly basis. You're going to look at that 3% number, but the way that, and if you really wait until the end of the month or even the end of the quarter or year, then it becomes something called a trailing indicator, right? Because you're waiting till after the fact. But if the leading indicator is during the month, we're figuring out what's happening and making changes and adjustments, now we can get out in front of the problem.
Yeah, and I think also with the retention one, if you get a client on the phone or get to sit down with them, they say they want to terminate, and if you have a conversation pretty quickly with them, you might be able to change their mind, change their contract, whatever. But if you wait a month, by that time they could have moved on, went to another gym, or really cemented in their mind they don't need to be here. So I think you can get out ahead of that. So I think tracking it weekly is also important. All right, so that's the fourth one, retention. But let's go back. So that's what's happening inside of your gym. But now let's talk about kind of what's happening on the outside, which is the marketing, sales, and that kind of stuff. So the other 3 numbers: leads, trials, contracts.
Yeah, and the most important one is leads. And this is, if anyone hasn't seen or read the 4 stages of business, the first stage is someone that's just starting out, as a gym owner. And stage 1, the number 1 focus needs to be getting to a critical mass of customers. So that means their focus needs to be growing their member base. And the way you grow a member base is through learning marketing and sales, right? Marketing is what's generating the leads, and then sales is what's turning those leads into paying members. So the thing is, in a scoreboard, when you're measuring this, you can look at trials and contracts all day long, but if there's no inflow of leads, that's a secondary issue. So you always have to start with, I look at it almost like this, funnel that goes in. The leads are filling, through in this funnel. And then in the middle of the funnel, you have what's going on in the sales process and the conversions and stuff like that. But you have nothing coming into the funnel, which is technically most people's issues. Most people are having a lead gen problem. That's probably the most important one. So that always comes first. And know that when that number is off, that every other number is going to be off. You probably could separate retention from that.
Yeah.
Right? I would say that just because you have a lead problem, that's not going to trickle down to the retention. You might be really, really good with retention and still suck at generating leads.
Talk about this. I hear you say this a lot to guys and girls. Is people think that it's not an issue because their trials, the contracts is like 99% or 100%. Yeah. They're like, no, my sales process, because everybody who comes in, I close. So they look at it and say, there's got to be something else going on. So they're not looking, and they think that you're wrong because I close 9 out of 10 people that come in the door. So expand on that.
So my response always to that is, you're just getting who you would have gotten anyway.
What does that mean?
It means that it just happened. Like there's nothing really that they did to cause that person to convert.
So
there's a certain amount of people that are going to come in regardless.
So you're going to get a lead flow, even if it's a little trickle, one person off.
Yeah, let's say hopefully you're good enough at what you do that you're getting some referrals, right?
Yeah.
And referrals are the easiest types of people to close. You're getting some referrals.
Someone drives by the gym, somebody walks in.
And it's like, I always laugh and say, I close everyone that I sit down with.
Yeah.
And my response is always what I said before. Well, you're getting who you would have gotten anyway. And they never actually take the steps to becoming better at the sales process. They never work hard at taking their leads and practicing the scripts for their phone calls, practicing how they're answering the phone, practicing how they're overcoming objections, practicing the ins and outs of the actual trial membership, and should we follow up with them every week, twice a week, what should we do? They never go through the process of making the sales system better because they've never had enough lead flow to be able to cause that problem. So having enough flow of new leads is going to cause you and force you to get better at sales, because now you're getting the people that you set out to get. You're not just letting things fall into your lap. So when you actually are very specific with lead gen strategies and you're doing things like Facebook's and you're getting people through good marketing, you're going to have to get better at sales, because not every one of those people is going to be a highly, highly qualified buyer.
Gotcha. So that makes sense. Okay. So we're tracking the big 4 leads. How many of those leads become trial memberships?
Trial memberships.
And then how many of those trial memberships?
Yeah, and some people listening to this may do like all challenges, all 6-week challenges. Everyone, I believe, should have some kind of a shorter term. It's probably not, it's possible. We've done it. But in higher value businesses like ours, so like an average value being anywhere from $3,000 to $6,000 a year for a member, that's probably not come in, meet with me for 15 minutes, sign a year contract for $6,000 and then get in there.
Yeah. Usually
it takes a little bit more of this romancing to kind of get this thing.
Especially when you're talking about opening the lead funnel. That's even more important, right? As you get better at marketing, because you're going to have the sales process is going to be more intense. Right?
Yep.
Okay. So leads, trials, contract retention.
Those are the 4 that, again, there should be more.
Okay.
But those are the 4
there can be more.
There absolutely can be more.
So let's start with that. Now, what do I do with that? So it's great. So I have my numbers, right? So now I have my own gym.
And this is a podcast where I just want to give this away. I just want to give this secret away, because it is like something that's, I just feel it's really, really helpful. And even if someone right now does not have, the means to come join our mastermind or something like that, this is still something that I feel is so important that people need to do. All they have to do is take the indicators, the actual key performance indicators that you're putting in the scoreboard, leads, trials, contracts, retention, put them on an Excel doc. One of the keys is setting a goal. And you want to decide on a goal for what is good on a weekly basis for that number. So for example, let's just say let's stay with the retention.
Okay.
So our goal for retention would be, if you did it on a weekly basis,
97%.
Yeah, 97%.
Less than 1%.
It would be less than 1 a week. It would be 3 a month. So let's just say it was 4. It would be what you'd know on that week that you'd be pretty on track if you lost 1 person a week. But all of a sudden, if that jumps up to 2 people per week, now we're like, okay, we just went from 4 to 8.
Gotcha.
We went from 3% to 6%.
So you're setting a goal for each category. You have a goal for leads, you have a goal for trials, a goal for contracts, and a goal for retention.
Yeah, and actually, there's a really good chapter in my book on how to get your lead goal, because, and the way you think, I'm not going to kind of unpack the whole process because it's a lot of math and I don't want to mess up the math on a podcast.
Yeah.
But the way you really would do it is you look at, all right, how much money do I want to make? How much more money do I want to make? And then you take what the average value is per month that you're looking to sell. And that would be, so let's say you want to make an extra, again, I'm going to want to change easy math, an extra $1,000 a month.
Okay.
Right? You would, and each of your memberships, the average is $500 a month, high value membership. So to get that $1,000 a month, you would need to get 2 members. Okay? But then you need to work backwards from there to get 2 members from a month. How many trials would you need to have to get 2? And then how many leads would you need to get that amount of trials?
You work back.
So it's kind of confusing to explain over a podcast.
No, but the funnel idea makes sense. The top of the funnel is going to be your biggest number. So the leads will be your biggest number, whether that's 6 leads a month or 20, depending on the size of your business.
The easiest way to explain it, I think it's to get 10 clients a month, which is where a lot of my guys are.
Yeah.
To get 10 new members a month, it's 40, 20, 10. 40 leads, 20 trials, 10 memberships. It's 50% close rate on the lead to the contract, 50% close rate. That's an easy way to do it. Some people can go as high as 60%, but think on a monthly basis, 40 leads, 20 trials, 10 contracts. That is probably a good recipe to grow.
Awesome. All right. So, but let's take this thing full circle. So, the main reason we're doing this now is so, as a business owner, or if you're in your situation where you're delegating now, this is prioritizing your time. That's why we're doing this. What are we doing with the scorecard? We have it, now what?
So again, it's like kind of going back to the hammer thing.
Yeah.
It's telling us where to go and what we need to work on the most. So for example, like let's say, and again, usually it's the leads if the other numbers are off. So let's say you had a week where your goal was 10 leads and you had only 2 leads. You know exactly what you need to do that week because that's what the scoreboard tells you to do. So the scoreboard tells you to move to the right problems. The second thing is we've created, you want to go through the hierarchy now?
Sure.
Yeah, so the second thing we've created in the mastermind that I'll share with everyone here today, but that is, so we call something called rocks, and that's 90-day goals. And part of every meeting that we have, when they come to the meeting, they're setting these 90-day goals. That's the second most important thing.
Underneath the
scorecard. So, because here's the thing, it's like, all right, we're probably not going to accomplish your goals if you don't have enough inflow of business. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of step one, is getting the scorecard on track, making sure those numbers are being met, the goals that you set. The second thing is like bigger projects. That would be the kind of second thing that you would turn to prioritize. Like, all right, I have a project, I have a goal. Within the next 90 days, I want to hire 2 more trainers, or I want to document a system. Then you would kind of turn your focus to those goals. That would be the second kind of order that you would focus on.
All right, and then what's the third?
And the third one is really just any type of day-to-day stuff that we always put first.
Yeah.
Right, most people take the fires and they take the phone calls and they take the emails, and people like, that are, I think, what they call urgent and important, right?
Yeah.
Like they folks spend all their time focusing on things that are urgent at that time and important because they let it get important.
So I mean, to give an example, so here's an example. You have a coach that's upset because they're not getting enough hours. And a lot of times you say, this coach, you spent all your time stressing on this coach leaving you, when really, if you were just the reverse engineer, go back and say, well, the problem is lead flow.
Right.
Because if you got 40 leads a month, you'd be getting your 10 contracts, and you would need 2 more coaches to handle the amount of clients that you're getting.
Exactly, that's a great point.
But you spent all of your time. So I think what this is going to do is help these guys focus and say, this is where my attention is going. Because once the main issues are taken care of, everything else underneath it.
Yeah.
But it's natural to try to handle the stuff that's right in front of your face.
Yeah, and there are things that happen in the gym. Sort of like if you have someone laying in the gym and their legs snapped in half, you obviously got to fix that.
Yeah.
But I mean, most things can wait. Most things can wait. So I think that you have to prioritize the most important thing. And we look at these numbers every Monday.
Okay.
And it's like we never ever miss. As like Dr. T, who was in our mastermind, says, never miss a Monday.
Yeah.
But we never ever miss looking at these metrics because it pretty much gives us a to-do list.
Yeah. I think that's good. You mentioned your book and how that would help. Because obviously the most important part is the top of this funnel. The first number that we're tracking is leads. So if you're saying that getting more leads is going to help every other problem in the business, how do we get more leads?
Just read the book.
Free book. So how do I get the book? How much is it?
Yeah, it's free. UltimateGymGuide.com.
It's free, so it must suck.
Yes, totally sucks.
But explain that. Why are you giving away a free book?
I've explained this many times and been in the industry for almost 18 years now. It's dating time.
It is.
And a lot of people have helped me along the way. A lot of good people, a lot of good mentors. And this is my give back to the fitness industry. I don't think the next one's going to be free.
Okay.
I'm almost finished with the second book right now. That's going to be all about sales. So I'm like halfway through right now.
But this book is all about marketing.
This book is all about marketing and it's free, so you should pick it up when it's free.
How?
UltimateGymGuide.com. Sharpie's going to put this in the show notes. So.
UltimateGymGuide.com. All right. Prioritize your build your scoreboard. Prioritize your issues and don't buy the book, but get the free book. Ultimate Gym Guide. Vince, happy birthday, man.
Thanks, Tom.
We're gonna eat some of this cake.
You can have at it.
Have a great day, guys. Thanks for listening.